Good morning, everyone. It's October 15th. Welcome to today's morning market rundown. Let's dive into these recap of yesterday and talk about the potential scenarios for today. So we have this consolidation point here on the daily time frame we've spoken about multiple times now. So we have this consolidation point and a key level at this 571 right here. Okay. Key level 571 coinciding with this VP shelf right here and this VWAP from this gap that we talked about the barcode, and now we broke out of here, out of this range. So that brings us to this intermediate time frame on the 30-minute chart, and we'll talk about some potential scenarios for today. So before we dive into that, we see yesterday's price trading action gapped up, held the VWAP here, and continued to push. All right, so right here, this would have been hard gapped up, but here's your VWAP continuation as it buys up. We could try to put a little stop under this low, or if you want to give it room, you risk that low of the day area. Breaks into a new high, move your stops up, take some profits. So we're gonna start. If you were trend trading this yesterday and moved your stops up, we're starting to break down into this area where we could start to trigger some stops. So we'll see what today brings to us. So what I'll be monitoring is for to see if we get a pullback down into this like 582 area or so, $2 pullback. So we'll just undercut this 2-day VWAP and then look to rally back above and then maybe get some continuation. I would actually prefer a little bit more profit taking now that we're so extended. Maybe we get back into that 3-day VWAP bounce, come back down and get a little bit more profit taking down into this 574 area. We could see this recent area of resistance could then potentially be tested as support with that rising 5-day moving average. So right now we have a rising 5-day moving average, and it's until proven guilty, like Brian Shannon says. So we're going to play with the benefit of the intermediate trend and keep our eyes on that. So the key levels that we talked about is from the daily time frame was at 571. You can see here this 565 area is going to be a key level as well, up in here and up in here. So excuse me. So the potential situation I'm monitoring, like just discussed, is a pullback into this 580 area. Maybe we get a bounce back to 583, can get some energy, consolidate, and break above in this area, right? Or this VWAP starts to become resistance, and we start to see some further profit taking, and we may see some further profit taking down into this 571, 570 area. We have a nice VP shelf. So diving into the 2-minute time frame, we could see what it looks like here. That'd be a pullback to this 579, this big VP bounce area here. So that maybe that's a potential for a bounce trade, but just keeping in mind that you're starting to see lower lows and lower highs on the smaller time frame. So that could just be a bounce, and that additional confirmation would be seen as we start to see higher highs and higher lows above that 586. So we get to this Qs, see what we got going on over here. Same situation, similar situation. We have the barcode, the breakout, and now we discussed yesterday that maybe this is where we want to get into this double top area, or maybe the Qs have a magnet up in this 500 for a new all-time high. So that brings us back down to this intermediate time frame, and we could see here that on the intermediate time frame, we had this resistance area at this 493 area. So this could be one key level of potential support. That's that 5-day moving average right here, 492. And so what we'll be seeing is if we can hold this VWAP from below, or if we start to break underneath it. So if we start to look something like this starts to break that gap VWAP. If we can't break above, maybe we start to undercut down to that 492. And then that's that rising 5-day moving average. Maybe undercut it a little bit, bounce, and we could get going again. However, just always point out that if we start to get stuck underneath this 5-day moving average, just start to be cautious, and that could give us evidence that we could maybe see potential further downside levels. All right, key levels is this 482, 485 area, and 488. All right, maybe we see something like this where the SPY rallies down, rallies back up, right? Let's make this black. And then starts to get us trapped and then gets going, right? And then we start to look up something here, right? So you get the dip, the strength, start to get consolidation, and you have a lower high to risk off of. Even as it comes in here, it rises up. But just be careful because it may start to trade underneath that 5-day moving average. And by Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be adding the data up in this area. So if we trade here and close tomorrow, the 5-day moving average will start to flatten out. Hopefully this was helpful.